Most people still imagine robots as trade show theater or viral clips online. The real shift is darker than that. Machines quietly entering ordinary workflows until labor itself starts looking like an avoidable cost. The title on screen is Top 10 Warehouse Robots Already Replacing Workers. But the real weight of that headline is not the phrase itself. It is the pattern hiding underneath it. This countdown is not built like a promo reel. It is built like a warning. We are moving from isolated robot demos to environments where machines quietly become the preferred way to move goods, inspect risk, route decisions, and manage labor. By the time we reach number 1, the pattern should be clear. The systems do not need to be flawless to change the balance of power. They only need to become useful enough that organizations start redesigning themselves around them. At number 10, the shift moves from theory to reality. Warehouse robots replacing repetitive motion. Picture the scene: rows of shelves, moving racks, barcode scans, and conveyor lanes. In this environment, robots glide under inventory pods, lift entire shelves, and bring them to workers who barely need to move. What matters here is not novelty. It is the moment the machine becomes predictable enough that managers can start pricing a human out of the loop. What this changes is straightforward. Human movement is removed from the workflow, but this is how replacement starts in practice. Narrow jobs first, then wider expectations built around the machine. The surface story is efficiency. The deeper story is leverage. At number 9, the shift moves from theory to reality. Factory robot cells with machine vision. Picture the scene: robot arms, safety cages, parts bins, and camera-guided assembly. In this environment, camera-guided arms sort, weld, pick, and place parts with repeatable timing. What matters here is not novelty. It is the moment the machine becomes predictable enough that managers can start pricing a human out of the loop. The immediate effect is clear. Precision tasks stop depending on human hands. But this is how replacement starts in practice. Narrow jobs first, then wider expectations built around the machine. That is where the mood changes from innovation to pressure. At number 8, delivery robots moving into public space shows where the transition becomes visible. Picture the scene: sidewalk robots, campus paths, curbside handoffs, and small urban vehicles. In this environment, autonomous delivery units move goods through spaces once reserved for people. The key threshold is not perfection, it is usefulness. Once a system is useful enough, the question inside the company changes from "can it work?" to "can we scale it?" What this changes is straightforward. Automation leaves the controlled warehouse and enters daily life. At first, it looks like a simple efficiency gain, but efficiency is often the polite name for removing human motion, human judgment, or human time from the cost structure. At number 7, humanoid robots entering human-shaped environments shows where the transition becomes visible. Picture the scene: 2 armed robots, ladders, hallways, and workstations built for human bodies. In this environment, humanoid machines operate in spaces that were never redesigned for automation. What matters here is not novelty. It is the moment the machine becomes predictable enough that managers can start pricing a human out of the loop. The consequence is hard to ignore. Companies no longer need to redesign the building before replacing the worker. And once competitors see the same numbers, selective automation starts turning into market pressure. The surface story is efficiency. The deeper story is leverage. At number 6, the shift moves from theory to reality. Hospital service robots. Picture the scene: hospital corridors, supply carts, medicine runs, and sterile backhauls. In this environment, service robots move linens, medicine, and supplies through clinical routines. That is when the economics begin to do the persuading. Once reliability crosses a minimum threshold, labor starts looking negotiable. What this changes is straightforward. Care environments start separating human empathy from logistical labor. And once competitors see the same numbers, selective automation starts turning into market pressure. At this stage, the shift is already happening whether people notice it or not. This is when the workflow starts bending around the machine instead of around the person. At number 5, the shift moves from theory to reality. Inspection robots replacing dangerous work. Picture the scene: refineries, tunnels, offshore platforms, and damaged industrial zones. In this environment, inspection systems enter areas companies no longer want people exposed to. The decisive shift happens when performance becomes boring. Once the machine is consistent enough, management stops admiring it and starts budgeting around it. What this changes is straightforward. Safety becomes the public justification for broader autonomous deployment. The darker consequence is not just speed, it is dependency. Once the workflow is redesigned around the system, returning to manual labor starts looking slow, expensive, and unnecessary. What makes number 4 different is retail robots watching shelves and customers. Picture the scene: supermarket aisles, shelf cameras, roaming scanning units, and stock checks. In this environment, retail robots scan inventory, monitor shelves, and collect behavioral data at the same time. What matters here is not novelty. It is the moment the machine becomes predictable enough that managers can start pricing a human out of the loop. The shift becomes obvious here. Commercial space becomes both automated and observed. Once this level becomes normal, the old human baseline starts looking like an inefficiency rather than a standard worth preserving. And once that becomes normal in one sector, it rarely stays isolated. What makes number 3 different is farm robots reducing labor dependence. Picture the scene: crop rows, harvest rigs, precision spraying, and autonomous tractors. In this environment, farm systems pick, spray, monitor, and navigate fieldwork with reduced human crews. The decisive shift happens when performance becomes boring. Once the machine is consistent enough, management stops admiring it and starts budgeting around it. The immediate effect is clear. Seasonal labor pressure turns into automation pressure. This is where the social meaning changes. Jobs are not only assisted anymore, they are decomposed, measured, and reassigned according to what software and hardware can do more consistently. That is where the mood changes from innovation to pressure. What makes number 2 different is robot fleets turning workers into supervisors. Picture the scene: control screens, multiple robots, route dashboards, and one human overseeing many machines. In practice, one operator supervises a fleet instead of performing the task directly. That is when the economics begin to do the persuading. Once reliability crosses a minimum threshold, labor starts looking negotiable. The consequence is hard to ignore. Employment shifts from doing the work to monitoring automation. At this stage, the shift becomes structural. The company no longer treats the robot as a tool inside the workflow. The workflow itself is rebuilt around machine timing. This is when the workflow starts bending around the machine instead of around the person. Number 1 is the point where robots stop assisting and start replacing, and this is where the pattern becomes concrete. Picture the end state: mixed work floors where humans and robots share space, but not authority. On these floors, machines set the pace while humans handle exceptions, resets, and the problems automation still cannot solve. That is when the economics begin to do the persuading. Once reliability crosses a minimum threshold, labor starts looking negotiable. What this changes is straightforward. The worker remains present, but no longer defines the workflow, and the machine becomes the new baseline for how the job is organized. And once institutions accept that logic, the shift extends beyond one warehouse or one company. The final shift is psychological. Once leadership accepts that machines set the pace and humans handle the leftovers, replacement stops feeling radical and starts feeling inevitable. So, when you hear a title like Top 10 Warehouse Robots Already Replacing Workers, the right question is not whether AI is improving. The right question is who gains speed, who loses leverage, and how much of the transition is already happening before the public fully notices. If that scaling continues, the next few years will not just change tools. They will change institutions, labor markets, bargaining power, and the definition of what companies still consider worth paying a person to do. That is why the real question is no longer whether robotics is improving. The real question is how much of the transition happens before workers, regulators, and the public understand what has already become normal.
AI is moving faster than you think. Stay ahead or get replaced. Subscribe.